small presentation of the Geneva Digital Marketing Group. So this is the fourth meeting, and well, welcome. So maybe just at the beginning a little bit about the mission of the organization. So it all started like in February, and then I had this idea of creating an organization where people could exchange the knowledge about digital marketing. So the idea was to integrate the consultants from digital marketing, do a networking, and then kind of do exchange of the knowledge. What I have noticed, what I have noticed in the plan of work is that there are also persons coming like you, for example. So basically, they are not strict in digital marketing, but they are interested in the topics, and they are also very welcome to join. So it's a kind of also possibility for people to train. And then let's have a look. No, okay. And then one of the digital marketing features is that the knowledge is expanding very quickly. So there are new things coming to the market, and it's very hard to be up to speed. For example, me myself, I subscribe to 7 different digital marketing newsletters, trying to update my knowledge, about the topic. But it's always good to have a discussion with the specialist. And we had, for example, a meeting when some of my friends from the digital marketing agencies, they could support, for example, a person who was a small business owner, to support them with providing them ideas how this person can expand their business. So this is a great opportunity to use. I do hope it's not mission impossible. Yeah, and this is something new actually. So also apart from doing a business side and kind of on business, say meetings, and expand the knowledge, the idea of the organization is to support those needs, and this is just starting. So basically, the sales of the tickets, so the step ranks, 10% of that goes to the charity. So it's like separated budget. And this is, so this is something new, what I just started, but I want to follow this idea, and then, when we have also bigger events, of course, we have more money, so then we could support better. And the first target will be the orphanage in Poland, in Głogów, so in a small hometown of mine. And I know, so I'm in contact with this orphanage over there, and I know that they need domestic things, food, or just football balls for kids just to play. So the idea is to support this organization. I was in communication with Geneva Volunteering Group, which is a G-Locals based group, and I don't know whether you're aware of that. So basically, like every Saturday they do cooking for poor people, and they have so I think they are close to corner them. They have their place, and many people are coming, just to eat something, get some nutrition, and in order to cook, they need to do it from something, and to have this something, they need money. So I'm also in communication with this organization to support them. And I think it's great, because it's kind of also differentiations from the other organizations, which are just like in meetings. I think, Geneva Digital Marketing Group wants to have, kind of a clear mission. And this is just the overview of the events. So like I said, so we started in February, the first event over here, and we did just have we sit in the pub, and we had discussions about how we want to start this organization, what we want to do. And most of the people were pro having, kind of a workshop, meeting or conference, like, we are following this idea so far, like today, for example, just to present one of the topics. So like today, for example, the big data. And following this idea, so we had like, meeting when, for example, there was my friend from digital marketing who was speaking about CRM, analytics, social media. I was speaking about social media in crisis time. Then this is what I just said to you. So there was this PhD candidate, PhD student, Anna Jawornik, who is from University of Lugano. So she was speaking about augmented reality. And and today we have a fourth meeting. And then some of the coming things. So this is all based on my discussions with the people. So I have a big network of different marketing agencies, and I'm in communication with them. But this is like idea based. So these are people who said yes, I want to participate, and I have a topic. So this was, for example, a person, Luigi Matrone, who's supposed to participate today. Unfortunately, he was not able to join us today, but he's on the list to do his presentation about, as far as I remember, this will be about social media. Social bakers. Are you aware of social bakers? No. So social bakers, this is what I also previously said, what, for example, Nestle is using when they have these big screens all around them in their digital department. And they are using social baker solutions to follow to track the social media statistics. So likes, followers, members in the Google Plus, so all, the social media. And this is great, I can really recommend this solution when it goes about, it's, for example, the base of it is free. So for example, if you want to check, how many likes has Harry Potter, or or followers on Twitter, or company like Procter & Gamble or whatever. You don't have to go to each of the sites and check first Twitter, Facebook, and so on. You just go to one site and you have all of your post statistics, and this is open. And then there is a solution called Pro, where so I will be also speaking about the social bakers a bit later on, because they also have a dashboard, and I will also place the link in the presentation. But they also have their Pro solutions, which is paid solutions. However, it provides social media monitoring tools, analytics, and they are one of the best on the market. And I had a discussion with the director of this company from business development. So he said also, yes, I have a digital and I have a topic. We just have to find the date. Wiki skills, basically on Wikipedia. And again, there's a person from France who I know, and she said, yes, I'm also happy to join. Just the point is, so as you can see, there are many people willing to join. Just that, for example, so far these two, for example, so social bakers and wiki skills, these are people who are not based over here, and I don't have a budget to pay for the tickets, accommodation, so it's very expensive, at least for this organization. So they said, by chance when we will be here, we'll be happy to do presentation. And then the others are like digital agencies, Nestle, big data agencies. So these are the people who, like I'm in touch, that we don't have a specific topic that we don't discuss, and we discuss, and this is something for something after the future coming in future. And I was very happy to hear that demand is listening to listening specific. Somebody great to put it up on Facebook. So our Facebook site, put in discussion with the forum, and so on. By the way, Facebook is the main channel for organization. Anyway, I have the next slide is this one. So this one. So this is the Facebook site. This is the Facebook site. I made it bold. valuation of how the provide or the growth working, so that you can also have like all these things. Facebook is the main communication channel. We have like 42 members. The bracket, when you look at it more, when you look at it more, you look at it, when you look at the channel for you, people are subscribing with the argument coming based on my experience. So that is why I also think that I don't do any communication more, and I focus more on things. LinkedIn as a project isn't working right now. It's because I don't find it as a communication channel. It's great to use communication, doing events, posting, everything. It's complex. It's not convenient. I know how to use it, but I really find Facebook better. And I think also the Facebook, one of the things that I don't want to informal, it is very formal, that's why we start for thinking of cookies and links, but I want to keep like open discussion also, that everybody could take something from this. YouTube, so right now I recorded this presentation with the point and with the point, we'll see what happens, everybody will be working, like, this is first a YouTube, and then we have a YouTube channel, so this is I put the question mark, like the Twitter, whether it's good to use it, when I use it, when I think more American people than Europe. Europe is more about Facebook. However, I don't see any romantic communication with Facebook, maybe people to join. There is a big action, there is American, South American, it's a good idea. On the top, there is a website. Just created, it's not great. I can work at it more, maybe I need organization, I have some IT skills, professional, to expand it. But this is, great when you notice what members of Facebook, that they can give information about the organization. And this is kind of contacting us with questions, subscriptions. I don't know whether this was just a calculation, I don't know whether it's exactly hard. No, it's hard. Good. So now we go to base of the presentation. You have the presentation here. Yeah, it's here. Okay. So this is for the day perfect dashboard, for big data. I think kind of a challenge for me, because it's like the title dashboard for big data. It's perfect dashboard. It's very challenging for me to say, okay, so what is the perfect dashboard? I never really went through the material. One is like the material that I have seen, and that's really hard challenge. It's really challenging to actually say, so what is perfect? Perfect, great, fantastic, great. That's right. Let's see what happens today. The brain teaser, okay. I'll allow you to read it. I don't see that you find. Yes. I have the same issue, by the way. So I'm trying to understand what is the because sorry, I didn't tell you. So this is one, this is another one. These are two different. But I just were looking at this, but you're laughing, but Because, in the final effect, you understand, I mean, the first one, for example, yeah, the first one is easy. The second is more complex. But deal guys, there's a comic book, by the way. So just to explain a little bit, because it would be helpful later on. Usually, in the comic book, this is the guy who is I know, vice president or like a top management position. This is a consultant. Kind of funny. This is actually how it usually works. So there is top management engaged in the dashboard because they are the end user, and there is no internally person working on that, but there is a consultant working on that. It was also in my case, also a consultant working on the dashboard for a company in different entertainment. And let's leave right now for the moment the second one. And because I said, two big things. One is dashboard, and the second one is big data. Let's start from explanation what is big data. Are you aware actually? Yeah, you're aware. Okay, good. So these are just some numbers about the big data. Again, I will give you a moment to have a look on it. Sorry? Yeah, very great. I would say especially, when it goes about this one over here. So 8 zettabytes, which, I had to look, sorry, it's not visible over here, but 8 zettabytes, it's like, for example, you're aware of gigabyte, right? So it's like 10 power 12, whereas a zettabyte is like 10 power 21. And this is the amount of data that we will have. It's like, cannot imagine. And this is everything. So this is like, for example, what I'm recording right now. If it will go to internet, it's already, the data that it's available. And then, so we don't speak only about the files. We don't speak only about HTML files put in the internet, but also about, everything what is going across the internet. And especially videos, they are very huge, and the video recordings, audio recordings. But I don't know whether you were also of that there is like huge potential coming, so of, big fragmentation of data, which is Google Glasses. You are aware, right, of Google? Right. So you know that, you will be able, with, like pushing a button, to record and stream. And this is, I think, especially very important. So you'll be streaming, like, for example, you will be recording video. Like, I remember in the commercial from Google Glasses, there was a guy on the top of the building, and he was like, I think, showing to his girlfriend, I don't know, playing an instrument, showing the screen, so like audio with screen image, or video actually, and this is big data. And then if all the people will start to do that, like record, this is really will increase the internet capacity. And you can also see across Facebook, YouTube, how much of data. And so you said that you are basically aware of the big data, and this is basically the definition. For me, when I hear big data, for me it's like challenge. So because in the final effect, for me, big data, I don't know why it's big data, who find the definition, but for me it's like a lot of data. This is, I think, more proper for me to understand. And when I speak about a lot of data, it's like a huge amount, and then what to do with that. It's like, it's like water pouring into the glass, and then the glass is starting to be, too small. So you have to do something with the rest of water, so you need another glass. If you don't put the glass in the right moment, you will pour around, and then you will lose the opportunity. You will lose, something. exactly, yeah, or yeah, you can put a pot or whatever instead of a glass, exactly. And again, I mean, so this is basically the definition. I think it's important to underline that this is data sets, complex, and then I think so. Everybody have a miniaturization. What is that? I just underline over here, this one. So the challenges include this, yeah, and then you have visualization, and this is actually the dashboard. This is the challenge for dashboard to visualize big data. So let's go through there. Just I think interesting example from Google. So Google likes data, and this is I think clear. Now the point is that you know, so Google is using different data for different purposes, and one of them is image visualization. And one of the challenge, which two messieurs from Google, so one is Jeff Dean and the other is Andy, NG. So they took a challenge of recognizing the images and then you know, using them for the search purposes. So this is the example, for example, that we have a flower, and sorry for the image, it's small a little bit, I know what I can make it. Oh, for a second, a little bit bigger. Ah, no, you can see it, perfect. Yeah. And anyway, I have it also here, which is better. So we have a lovely flower over here, and the objective is to find this kind of flower on any different image. So for example, this one. So having this, you know, if you would put, you know, upload an image of this flower, you would like to also have, you know, this flower, but just in a different, you know, image, in a different perspective. And this is a challenge, you know, because really the images are quite complex. So what they did, you know, and we speak about the big data again here, especially the images, big data, because we can imagine that, you know, going from images, the next step would be to go to the video. And also, you know, like kind of enable people to find something in the video. Also maybe just calling the names, so instead of, you know, uploading the image, you just say, I don't know, a flower or whatever, and then, actually. Yes. Oui, très bien, merci beaucoup. Très bien. Ça marche. Je suis désolé parce que je fais les coding. Oui, super, ok. Ça marche. Merci beaucoup. Désolé. Okay, sorry. Right. So for example, you know, if you would put in the search engine flower, you would find all the videos which have flower, but just the image, you know, or video, you know, but not the name flower in it. And this is really challenging, but this is a challenge for Google. And what they want to do in the final effect is they want to use a neural network to do that. So what I also previously mentioned, which I find quite, you know, fascinating. So me myself, I was also working. I had two projects for neural networks. I find them great. And why? So this is a basic structure of neural networks. It's very simplified. We have layers of inputs. This is one layer, this is second layer, this is third layer. And then we call them. So we have input layer and output layer, and then we have a hidden layer. And then input, like the name says, it's like the data that we put. So, you know, for example, in this case, we would put an image of the flower in, let's say, and put it in bit code, you know, so understandable for a computer. And then putting it as an input, would enable to do calculations on that, which is happening in the hidden layer. And you can see, for example, this is just a one layer, but there can be more layers of these hidden layers, and then these are where calculations happening. And then you have output, which is information about whether we have a flower or not. So whether, for example, if we are looking for this flower, is it a flower? Yes, no, to output. And why I'm saying about this, because so many companies, they have big data, but the challenge is to find a structure for it. So it's like the glass that we discussed. But what if the glass is not a proper structure? Maybe we need a pot. Maybe we need I don't know a different kind of dish or whatever. So that is why neural networks are so supportive, because basically whatever we put neural networks, it will always do calculations and provide us with output. And we don't need to know the structure. We don't need to know whether it's a glass or whether it's a pot or whether it's a different structure. We just put and we have an output. So for example, to put it more, let's say, in the business context, when we do forecasting, we can also do neural networks. And let's say we know what was the sales for last 12 months. So we put it in the algorithm. And then we want to know what will be the sales in 2014, for example, January. So we can have this output. And many things you can do, with the neural networks in front, so you can organize the data. The challenge is that, on the other hand, so if you don't know what is the structure of the data, it's a kind of challenge, because we say about garbage in and garbage out. You have to watch out. So you have to track the output, and you have to look whether it really makes sense what you are getting as a from the input to the output. It's like I heard examples of spots on the moon have impact on the sales of what was it, a bread or something like that. You can find such relationships, which logically they don't make sense, but neural network or algorithm doesn't know it. And this is just one of the algorithms. There's also genetic algorithms, different solutions, which I think people who are in let's say business analyst solutions, or they're strictly working on the data, they should be aware of. I know at least that for example Nestle, they have a very good, so they have ready-made solutions based on the neural networks. They know how it works, but they have solutions to provide forecasting, shipping, this kind of things. So this is also kind of interesting regarding the big data that people are usually forgetting when they speak about big data. Okay, so we went to the big data topic. I don't know. Whether would you have any questions regarding big data, or is it clear for you? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You mean the neural network, or? Yeah. How to implement it. So just to let you know about that, so you can, for example, use a free solution if you are like it, because for me it's kind of a hobby also a bit, which is R language. I don't know if you're aware of that. R. Sorry, R. Sorry, R. I'm saying in French. R. Do you know it, or are you aware of that? Yeah. Yeah. So just it's, let's say, I don't know, a big business, a big company, if you're working in a big company, you don't need to know that. I mean, it's good to know that, but it's not necessary, because they already, like I said, they have no solutions, like Nestle, for example. So they have, just put the data, and then they have a calculation. Small companies, they have can have small budget, and then it's great to use free solutions. And R is one of them, because for R programming language, which is statistical programming language, you can have free packages, which are enabling, for example, implementation of neural networks. So, or you want to set up a business in this area. It's good, to know this kind of things. And I know that actually the people who are, especially in doing PhDs, some of my friends, so they use the solution because it's free. And I believe that in university you have rather limited budget. So it's good to save every cent. Okay, so let's move right now to the dashboard. This is just the overview, of what I prepared, what I have found in the internet, just to show like what I am speaking about today, because some people can associate dashboards with like you have in a cockpit or you have in a car, but we're speaking about IT solutions. Okay, so these are some more examples, and then what is the dashboard? So this is the definition. Again, I think I don't need to quote, so you can read it for yourself. But again, I just underlined two things in the definition, which is one of them is, so there are top things. One is graphical presentation, and it's a key of definition. Another is to present key performance indicators, so KPIs. So KPIs is, I think you're aware of that, so like tracking the potential of the company, and then development indicators. There are really top indicators just to explain how we are performing as a company. And that is why dashboard also is so interesting, because it's on the other hand not showing the numbers only, it's showing the graphical presentation. So enabling people who usually don't work with this data to quickly have a in-look in that. Okay, and this is just the definition from Wikipedia, which I think is very proper for that. Now, if we go into a little bit details of the definition, so actually going to the business definition, we'll see some more things outlined. So again, we speak about the key performance indicators, but I think especially this bottom part is important. So one of them is it's simple, it communicates easily, because usually, like we had in this comic book, there was this director, director or vice president. So he has only just 1 minute to look at what is happening with the company, then he has to do another 1,000 things. So the quicker you can provide information to the end user, the better it is with the dashboard. No distractions, so not create confusion with the data. When people will have a look first time at the dashboard, which is new, they should already understand how it works. For example, if you use in your dashboard colors like rose or purple to signalize something, they can have no idea what you're talking about, and maybe they don't have time to read the legend. Whereas, when you use colors like green or red, which are quickly associated, green, go ahead, everything is fine. Red is bad, stop. It's like we have traffic lights, so people quickly associate the colors. Support organized business with meaning and useful data. So again, this is about providing the proper data and providing also the meaning to the company in terms of it's not only about displaying the numbers, but it's also like providing kind of additional value. For example, why we should expand our business to Africa. Does it make sense? So, it's important also how you present the data sometimes. Because the key people, on the top, they can, based on your dashboard, make a decision, okay, let's expand to Africa. And then if you are wrong, then it can be painful for you. So you also have to watch out when it's challenging. And then one is visual presentation of information, but also human visual perception. So this is what I said, for example, about when I said about the colors. Watch out with the meanings of colors. Also, graphical solutions. For example, I know the dashboards which are created as a, car's cockpit. And then people are looking at it, and they say, why, when we sell coffee, we look at the car, inside. What does it mean? They start to think. And they don't look anymore at the data. They think, why you put it in this context? Why it's car? So that is why it's important also to, think how the human being and will be looking at this data, and not to be too creative, but rather, provide the quick information in the nice context. And there are three types basically of dashboards. I mean, you can also find, I have seen even 6, different types, but I think this is, sufficient. This is already a good base of types of dashboards. So we have strategic dashboards, monitoring, and analytical. And again, I underlined. Okay, we also see that the red. Also, sorry, this red corrections. But in the strategic one, this is something more when we think about the long-term perspective. So we provide really a top data, and this is something usually what goes to the top management, even to the CEO, to make a decision, or to kind of understand how we strategically perform. And we also see over there, apart from measures of performance, forecasts. So what is the perspective in future? That's why we can make decision, for our strategy. We can, even create a full mission, objective, what in this year we are doing as a company, what is our strategic objective. Analytical is more about providing comparisons, history, so understanding in a kind of like, how we can provide the data to the end user so that he could understand better some relationships. And this is great to see, especially when you use ratios. So like, you divide one measure versus another one. For example, number of, sales in Russia divided by sales in Switzerland. What is the ratio? When it is bigger? How much it is bigger? And then you can think why, for example, Russia is 10 times bigger than Switzerland. And then we have monitoring dashboards. So this is something opposite to the strategic one. So this is more a short term. Just, like provide information. In this mode, for example, what is our performance? So they also can support strategic decisions, but this is more about short-term operational business. And now we'll just, so I thought that like some people can be familiar with some of the dashboards, and I don't know whether you have worked with Google Analytics, for example. So quickly, Google Analytics is a solution which enables to provide tracking of a website. For example, theoretically, I haven't done that actually yet, but for website Geneva Digital Marketing Group, I can set up Google Analytics, and then I can know how many people visited this site today, how many people visited yesterday, how did they get to this site, did they find it via a search engine, or did they write directly a link, or did they just find it in by links from a different website? So somebody was linking to my site. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Perfect comparison. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So this is more complex than LinkedIn. LinkedIn is just a base, and the qualities you really have a big thing. I also think, want to do a workshop about it because really people, this is a core. Some people are not aware of that when they're setting up their business, that they should also set up, if they want to expand, of course, in the digital market, also a digital area, their business, they should set up also Google Analytics. So just to, start tracking. They don't do that. They don't track the data, and then let's say 6 months later, if they want to, I don't know, for example, should I create a mobile version of my site? They don't know that because they don't have the data for that. So they just can make a guess, let's say. And just an overview, so this is a base, core. When you go to the Google Analytics, you have like 60, or I don't know, even more, I think, 80 different sites. What is one of them? This is just the main one, where you see, for example, the performance across the days even of visits, how many of them you had, and then unique visitors, page views. This is the ratio by day. Sorry, so pages per visit. How many people, how many pages, yeah, person visited per visit. And you can already see, so you have like timeline over here. And the other one is pie chart with new visitors. So what was the percentage of people who, first time they visit this site versus, how many of them visited it second time. But this is not about guarantees, you just, just to present the dashboard. What you can see, it's very clear, so you can quickly find what you're looking for. So people from Google really know what they do. On the other hand, and this is something less what I'll be speaking about, but again, WordPress, are you aware of the solution, or do you know? WordPress is kind of CMS, content management system. So like instead of, doing HTML, for example, programming, that there is something like this, right? Or HTML programming, creating a website. So instead of, doing programming, writing a code, you can just install on the server ready-made solution. One of them is WordPress. So you just install them on the server and you have a site. And basically it's a blog. Actually? Yeah, it's like you would, instead of, I don't know, for example, if you said that you know Linux, right? Yeah. So Linux is more complex than Windows, right? More complicated, I mean. Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe, sorry, so maybe it's a bad comparison, but what I mean is that, instead of creating something, you already have a solution, just install it. It's like, you don't need to, I don't know, write a code to create Microsoft Office. You just install Microsoft Office and you have, Word. Exactly, right. Yeah. Yeah. Like if you, after the meeting, if you have a look at the Geneva Digital Marketing Group website, you will see that it's based on the WordPress engine. So, and this is a dashboard. So this is what they call WordPress dashboard. Just to show you, this is more a dashboard in the context of, what I can do with this. So this is something what you can only see. For example, for Geneva Digital Marketing Group, this is something what I can see only with I'm administrator of the site. And I can, customize my site, view my site, add about page, so do different things, edit basically. And just over here in this corner, I have overview of how many post pages there are. So kind of, this is also a dashboard. But this is something, like what is more in the programmer context. So if you want to be a programmer, you want to create a user interface for a person, this is the dashboard. But this is not a focus of today. When you speak about the dashboards, I would like to recommend two solutions. So basically, I don't work for these companies, and I have nothing to do with them, but I was working on their solutions. And what is great about them, apart from that there are many solutions, these two are free. So there are some limitations, of course. For example, the second one, you cannot. There are some put the data. I think there are some limitation, but still it's very useful. I mean, as a free solution, so you can do different things, and you can create dashboards with them. So one is Avstats, and this is a link. How you can download it. The second is ClickView, and especially, I mean, I was basically working more on ClickView because it shows better graphical representation. It's a solution dedicated to Windows, so you can insert and share it on Windows. On Macintosh. Like for example, I had this issue. But when you have Windows, this is great because then you can create dashboards in this kind of model. So you just upload the data, and then quickly you can provide dashboards, and then you can just copy paste it to Excel, to PowerPoint, whatever you wish. So it's great for the business analysts, to when they put the data, and then they want to provide this update to management, they can use this kind of solutions. Apart from, sorry, it's not mentioned over here, apart from Excel, which is already a great solution to do dashboard. Yeah, I mean just this one. I forget the English name for this one, but it's like you have in a plane, right? There's this kind of things, or in a carrier, speedometer, right? Speedometer, yeah. So this is something what you can create in Excel, and but it's great because really so all the charts are very nice. However, here you really see you have like red, yellow, green. Like I said previously, with the traffic lights. Yeah, and then it's very clear. You see immediately what is happening. So you don't even need to read. You just need the top headlines, and then you know what exactly is happening. Whereas here you need to really look into details, in the charts, compare this to this business. So for example, if let's say there was a catastrophe coming in the company and now we're going bankrupt, I think this would be the best way to communicate to people we are really on the all measures where profit, revenue, turnover, whatever, everything is pretty bad. Yeah, and then there are some solutions, again, free one, which are providing the dashboards already with the data within it. So maybe I will right now quickly just show you what I'm speaking about. So let's start with the first thing. And there really, so this is something, again, this is not too many, but this is something really, really great when it goes about expanding your business. So for example, one of them is Think with Google. I think in Google, it's a project where Google, of course, is engaged, but also there's Ipsos and some other companies to provide support to the business owners. So targeting rather small companies, but also, middle and big companies, they can use this solution. It's totally for free, so everybody can enter it, and it's great. And I will show you right now why. So let's say, for example, that we want to create a mobile app, and we want to understand, how we want to create a mobile app. Let's say, for example, we want to create one in Switzerland, and then another one. Let's take Russia we have here, and let's say maybe Poland. Let's see what happens. So, and we want to understand, for example, what is the smartphone penetration in these countries. So Think with Google is generating already for us a chart. Let's say, let's do it for, so we have right now 2 years. So one is 2012, previous year, and then 2011. And then we can already see what is the smartphone penetration in this country. I see just for Russia and Poland the data is missing. But for the rest, so Switzerland, I mean, it's over here. Yeah, exactly. So probably they didn't simply add the data. There's even an explanation. Your section has missing data. You may have selected content that was not filled in. Yeah, so, but we can already see, for example, that penetration of mobile is higher in Switzerland. I mean, was higher because we speak about the previous year in Switzerland. And then you have, let's say, Russia and Poland is kind of similar. Russia is a little bit leading. And then we can see expansions, how big percentage. So we can calculate the percentage, how it changed, in the, sorry, this is 2011, right? Ah, right. Ah, okay, sorry. So now I see. So this is 2011, right? But basically, looking just at Switzerland, we can see what is, how big is the expansion rate between these 2 years, and then we can make a forecast for the next year. Yeah. But this is smartphone. This is not. This is, yeah. So this is like, with internet that you use it, and it's not like, like you have a smartphone, for example. Yeah. Um, and then you can also select, because was based on a survey. There were some participants, and you can also select like what you want to have, or just male or female. You can, for example, see maybe there's like this. We can then compare, for example, male versus female, how the numbers are different. And then this is just a part. So we have a lot more. So, for example, what we have here, we can select operating system and then compare it across the countries. Sorry? Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, right. And what is great, so especially when people are working on, global projects, but they want to look specific in the countries. For example, we have, let's say, EMEA region, so we can select just, like Germany, Switzerland, France, and so on, these kind of countries, and just compare them, where it makes sense more, to expand our business, or just to understand the market. And this is this kind of solution, which again, is for free. And this is just the one part of it. And then if you go to the site called Think with, oops, yeah, okay, it's going Think with Google. So you have different parts. So you can also read the content to understand how mobile is transforming the shopping experience in store. So you have different topics basically with insights. And then I think they have, so they also, okay, here, products and tools. Here we can select, different solutions. So there was the link. I think it's somewhere over here where you can, you can create different charts. So as you have seen previously, it's very quickly, you just pick the data, countries and so on, and you have a chart, which you can put in your dashboard with Effect. So this is one thing. And then the other one, which I already mentioned, is social bakers. And I'm not a fan of Harry Potter, but I would just read the first part. But just to show you just the example. So this is social bakers, which I mentioned previously, with the data on social media. And again, so I'm just showing it for the purposes of dashboards. Maybe let's put it to the full screen right now. And now I'm in Facebook. Yeah, Facebook page statistics. So you see, for example, how many local fans there are in the United States, percentage, Indonesia was on the second place as a Harry Potter fan. Okay, India. Wow, so that this is more popular in Europe. And how it is changing across the days. How many people are talking about it on Facebook? That's something like, talk about. And this is Facebook, and then you can go to Twitter. Okay, it's loading. And again, Uh, so let's put Harry Potter. Let's see what happens. Whether it's we can find. Oh, okay. Yeah, we can also. And there's I believe you have to put in the left corner. But again, this is something like you can see the followers, how it is growing across the days. I believe that if you put, so not all the data can be linked to the database, but I see, for example, Harry Potter is on, okay, Facebook and then Twitter. Yeah, okay. So you have also on Twitter different sites. Google Plus, you can have a look. Okay. Yeah, we can also go to link. Yeah. Ah, no, Harry Potter is not on LinkedIn. Right. But again, when you are doing business, when you want to understand your market, this is something great. What really I can recommend. It's very useful. Okay, so let's move further. Uh, mhm. So, okay, so maybe a little bit about the data representations. So, for example, I mentioned previously about, so this is how you sit in the car, a dashboard. But this can be really confusing for some people. They can really why they have it in the car, where we are going. So people who are not aware what is the dashboard in the Fanatec, like, I don't know that, for example, I don't know, from product design, whatever you need to look, those type of things, why this? And then, just to show, like, you have column charts, which are, for example, popular when you speak about the ROI. So, return on investment, how it's growing, between the years, how it is changing, what is the trend. But not only, you can show profit, sales, revenue, everything actually you can put in the column chart. You can just put the numbers and then underline, for example, red color, that is bad, it's minus 15. Whereas, for example, let's say theoretically if you would have plus 15, you would put it in green or yellow. Pie charts, great, but not, yeah, yeah, great, but not always, because, yeah, so this is very bad. It's not visible. And then what you can do, I don't know what you're aware of, so in Excel you can put, so there's a pie chart, and then I forgot the name, but you can, like, put another pie chart. For example, this part over here, you can put in another pie chart, and you can show how big, in total, this percentage is contributing to this one, whereas this data would be in different pie charts, so they would be more visible. It's like a fragment, Yeah, you know how it is, right? Yeah, yeah. Hmm? And it's just a simple chart. Great when it goes about forecasting, because you can also show a trend. You can put a line, for example, or a curve. You can see how it is changing across so the dates, but also we can compare, let's say, gross profit with sales for different measures. And the 3D charts, so this one over here, I still think, I haven't found, kind of personally, I didn't find a use for it. I find it, yes, exactly, yeah. So I haven't, I have never seen a dashboard using this. However, probably this is something more when you speak about um, dynamical dashboards. What means that, in opposite to the static dashboard, when, the see already made, graphics and so on, in the other type of dashboard, you can change the data, like we have seen, for example, on the thing with Google example, and then we can, for example, add Switzerland or remove Poland from the chart, and then we can see how it is changing. So maybe this is then great to see, also the 3D, but not in a three-dimensional, say then maximum two. And some other examples, so this is more, let's say, going into how we can create as a total a dashboard. And for example, personally, I liked a lot this one. So it's very clear. Sorry, it's a little bit small, but I think basically you can already see from here, the top. So it's a, across different business parts. So billing, global, internet, but this could be also countries, France, Germany, Switzerland, whatever. It's everywhere the same, and then we can quickly compare it. For example, how the trend is changing. What is I think it's the average, it can be average visit time or whatever. But this is, sorry? You can read it. Yeah, okay, wow. You have a great site. I can see it for you. So exactly. So again, and this is big, so it means that it's important for our business. So you think, okay, so these people on the top, they really need this measure to understand. Whereas, for example, let's say this one over here is a bit smaller, so maybe it's not so important for them. And again, this is also on the top, so it's very easy to read, I think. I would just think about the colors. So, again, I don't know the background of this dashboard, but I would just think, why they put it in green, then they put it in blue, and then put it in different color. Maybe they want to differentiate it, show it from different perspective. Actually, it could be random, just to underline it. But in the final effect, it looks very clear. This is another type of dashboard, and this is from software solutions. Just here, I would underline this bubble chart. So also what I didn't say previously. Are you aware of bubble charts? Have you met with them? No. So basically, what is great about it is it works like a graph, normal graph, but so you can put, I don't know, for example, sales or revenue, for example, and then exactly, you have a third variable. Exactly. So so this is great. I don't know. You want to have three measures, and then you want to understand, and especially the size. I think it's you have to watch out because when this will be small differences, and you put bubbles, and one bubble will be, let's say, 0.5% bigger than the other one. It's hard to compare it. So you have to have really see the discrepancies. Use a proper measure. But apart from that, it's very visible. This is a geographical representation of the data, which is also pretty common. So when we have a business in different parts of world or Europe or whatever, it's a good idea, just to put like a map also of a country, for example, or a continent, and then you can align with the color, whether it's green. I'm sorry. Yeah. You mean this one to the left? This one? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. So you mean that it's not good that? Yeah. So what would you do then? Actually, there. Okay. You mean like from white to black or something? Okay. Hmm. I think someone had a kind of a good sense. It's just that here, so maybe it's something. because you have, as you can see, from red to yellow, green. Yeah, true. And then you have a funnel tunnel kind of representation. So I don't know whether you're aware of a funnel tunnel. No. Uh, yeah. So let's use maybe one piece of paper. So the funnel channel, it's like you see on the image, kind of this funnel, and it's coming from the web. So when you have, let's say, for example, e-commerce business, you can identify different phases for a client. The first one, he's entering the site. When he's entering the site, he can find a product that he's finding interesting. So he can put the product in the basket. Then he has to go across, the process to, put his data and so on, and finally he has to pay for the product. And what we see in the business practice, that many people are, like, for example, I'm also this kind of person, are putting a product in a basket, but then I think, actually it doesn't make sense. I will buy it in others. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Or for example, I want to see what will be just the price of the product. For example, for some products, yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Very good example. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So this is the issue, or the registration process just to the website again. So people can visit the site. Many of them can visit the site, but not each of them can subscribe to the site, for example, to the newsletter. So this is our final target: sell a product, subscribe to the website. But not many people are finishing it. And so people who are in the web business, they are very often using this kind of analytics. Also in Google Analytics, you can use it. And you can use this idea when you have internet business, especially because people know how it works, funnel tunnel. You can use it for your business, for example. Okay, so again, sorry, I cannot read over here. I think you have better size, but you have an idea basically. So, for example, I don't know. Let me think. So I'm thinking right now out of the internet context how we can use this funnel channel. So basically at the very beginning, I don't know, for example, many people are entering our store because they got, I don't know, an ad to the entering cop or whatever. And then, but not each of them can buy a product that you want to sell in the funnel. They can buy some other product. So it's always about, it's decreasing the number. Okay. Okay, so this is already stroke, so it's clear. So basically, yeah, it's nice visualization with the Excel, but it's in the final like not good for our eye, for a human eye. Yeah. So for the business analytics or PC or whatever, this would be still eatable, but not for the top management. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you have to be more creative with the dashboard. And I found, when I was, going across the material, I found an interesting link, with the explanation why you shouldn't create a dashboard. So at least, within the company, like I said previously, when you remember the comic, at the very beginning, there was this dog, which was a consultant. So why people are hiring consultants to do the dashboard in the final effect, and no, they don't do it in itself. So this is kind of an explanation, for example, it isn't so simple as it seems. And really, when someone hasn't worked yet with the dashboard, he has an idea. But as soon as you start, you just touch this topic, you understand that this is actually more complex than you can think. It's not only about like putting data in Excel and then putting it in on the file in a presentation. It costs more, so yeah, I speak money, time. When we have data specialists hired, so for example, I think you would be a person, if you would get this position in your discipline as a data, I don't know, data specialist, presumably, or a person in this area, you can actually do more things, useful. You can provide some recommendations instead of, thinking how I should put this data. Should it be in a pie chart or should it be in a columns? People are usually not happy with representation. So again, when you create a business dashboard, it's many times, especially when you will have your supervisor or whoever is a business leader for the project, will be always, correct this, correct that. It's not like, you have to be really great person dashboards, create like, I don't know, thousands of dashboards to make people quickly satisfied with dashboards. That dashboard that's created. And then this is also an issue. Too many sources of data, how we can put them in one representation. So what I mean is that you can have data in Excel, you can have data in SQL database, so in different types of database. You can have data in the internet, and how we can, integrate this data and then quickly update the dashboard. This is a big challenge actually for many companies. So there are, companies like, big FMCG companies, for example. They are very long on the market and they already started to use different databases, and then another database is coming. Then the consulting is providing database, different format of data. How you can put them in one context. This is really, a challenge, to find a way to integrate the data. And so one of the ideas is to create a macro, so kind of automate, pulling out the data from different databases, but this is something impossible. So that is why, it's sometimes better to hire a consultant to do a dirty job, which is, just taking the data and then updating them, or, creating a new database where you pull all these different database in one database and then creating a dashboard. Because every month, basically when you have a dashboard, every month you will have to create a dashboard. So you need to, find a quick way to do it, just to, focus on different things. Top questions to create a perfect dashboard. Oops. Okay. So, who is my audience? This is very important. So, who is this person? Is it a business leader? Is it a CEO of a company? Is it just my supervisor that I have to provide updates for? Is it a multifunctional team from different functions who have different knowledge, so they can be not necessarily aware of, what this is this KPI. So you need to provide more explanations, and then you can put some specific questions. So, for example, are there Excel users? Do they know what is Excel? Maybe not necessarily people who are in product design, for example, if they need to know, of course, the data. Do they like numbers? This is a funny question, but some people, they just hate, when they see numbers, mathematics, and so on. So you have to think, how to put it, in a nice way, so that, maybe a smiley face, maybe something, I don't know, flower, whatever, when it's good, just to, make it eatable for people. Do they understand the data? Maybe that is why it's better, first make a survey, check with the people whether they understand what is this, what is that. It also makes sense when you create a dashboard to create a deployment to the team, which is, presentation. You just make a meeting with everybody and present, this is a dashboard and this is how it works. And this is what you will be getting every month. So make sure that everybody understands how to use it. What they are using on a daily basis. What they, maybe you can have a discussion with them. Even, during a coffee, you can ask, okay, so what is the KPI for you? And then, already, so you put it in dashboard. Okay, so let's switch to the next one. What value will the dashboard add? So why we actually need the dashboard? This is our ultimate aim. Like I said, what is the reason that we spend this time? So is it a support decision-making tool, especially, top management, but not only, but, usually people in charge. Just educate and inform the people how we are performing across the malls. Is it to set goals, a mission, strategy for a company? Or just a simple update on progress, just that people can, sleep and without any concern. And then what type of dashboard? So I already mentioned some types, previously: strategic, monitoring, analytical. This is just, provide some more detailed types. So you can have, either general dashboard with, different kind of data to satisfy different functions, or you can have very specialized per function. Like, for example, for finance, you create a different dashboard than for marketing. They have different KPIs usually. Is it more strategic, so long term versus short term? This is what I mentioned previously. It should be static or customizable. So again, you can have either something what is an image, you cannot change it, or you can have a software, and then you can modify the data, like we have seen with Google, for example. Detailed versus general overview, and then how to create dashboard. This is actually the question which I added apart from theory. So, we have to answer for the question how we prioritize the data. As you have seen, for example, if you remember this, I know I can see this one. Do you remember this dashboard over here? So you have seen big numbers or small numbers. So it means that bigger numbers will have a bigger significance rather than smaller ones. This is one of the ways to prioritize, but also you can make it bold. You can kind of underline it graphically. And who should be engaged in that? Actually, I put the IT on the top, but it should be actually management in the final fact. Who should be engaged in that? So they should know, be aware what you are creating, and on the other hand, you should be aware of what they need, because in the final there will be end clients of the dashboard, or business leaders, and especially business development. Especially these guys, they need to know, if they are developing, let's say, expanding business, I don't know, from Poland to Russia, for example, then they need to already know in Russia what is for example, for the mobile business, penetration of mobile, and how it is changing across different malls. Which regions maybe in Russia are relevant. But also IT, so IT is like, it depends, because you can create simple dashboards, static ones, and then you don't need IT people. But if we speak about really professional solutions, we engage IT people to program the solution. For example, even in Excel, you can create with a VBA code, you can create solutions so that people can customize data in Excel and create their own dashboards. And so watch out. So, for example, when you create a solution for not only for a computer but also for mobile or tablet or whatever, then watch out for the screen size. So maybe it makes sense then to create several dashboards, one for mobile phone, one for computer, or you can, in the code, you can edit it. Usually IT people can do that, on the line that, you need also to adopt it to the BlackBerry, the solution, so that the people, again, people who are in business development, they're traveling a lot, so this is a lot helpful for them to have a solution where they could, just using their BlackBerry or, I don't know, smartphone, whatever, see it on the screen. Keep it simple. So, and then I put an arrow in Excel. So one is keep simple the dashboard, but the other one is also, actually already in Excel, if you have small business, you can create a simple dashboard, especially when you just need to create it once, or you need to create it several times, but you don't want to, you just have a, let's say, smaller group of end users. So like, for example, your colleagues from the team, they want to understand a little bit what is happening in this particular route. So what you can do then, you can just simply in Excel put the data once, you create graphs, and then you can next time for the next month when you want to create a new dashboard, you just delete the data from or you can just copy paste, and then you just delete the data, and then you put the new data, and you already have a graph, right? So you don't need to create once again a graph. You just, because graph is in Excel automatically updating information. So this is something what makes sense to know. Meaning of colors, I mentioned it, red, green, yellow. Proper visualization, this is also what I mentioned. So our dashboard, for example, for ice cream company. Don't make people confused. Use appendix. This is something what some people are forgetting. So they're creating great dashboards, but very detailed one. And then people, they can not understand some things, or it's not clear for them. And in this particular cases, you can put some of the parts of the dashboard in appendix. And then you can, for example, say in the first slide, in the first top dashboard, you can say, in the appendix, you can find more data about this, for example, in the small letter. Or in the appendix, you can find explanation. And then people who don't, who have time to read it, they can go to appendix. People who don't have time, they simply just ignore it and just look very quickly at the dashboard, and they will find what is proper for them in the final effect. So this kind of gives, opportunity for people to pick the best option for them. Top tips. So something, again, when I looked, across the experience and material, what makes sense. Use few colors. So colors can really confuse people. What is rainbow? So exactly, yeah. So this is one thing. Use nicely design on the other hand. So you remember, the stroke out dashboard. Better, you can always do nice things in Excel. You can edit a little bit graphics. Just don't use the standard Excel graphs if you want to create something, let's say, proper for end users' eyes. Provide clear time overview. So basically, very often, and I think in most of the cases, the dashboard is based on the time. And then you have to make it clear for the people, what is the month that we speak about, for example, but also when you speak about the trend, how it is changing. So, for example, don't put, I don't know, a line, and then you can say sales, but you don't have, note over here. Is it June? Is it May, for example? Provide top data. So this is what I mentioned, prioritize, but also ratios. Ratios are great because ratios can really, this is something what you add. It's like a added value. So when you provide just the data, for example, sales or revenue, this is just the data. People can also go to database and find. But when you speak about the ratios, you have to think also why it is so. For example, in Russia, we have 4 times bigger business in Switzerland, or why when we have a mobile app, why we have 6 times more downloads that we have users logins to the application. So why people are downloading more, but they are not using the application in the final effect. You have to think, because there are more downloads. So really, with the ratios you can really add some things to the business and help people to understand better it.